Today, December 3rd, the yogis from both abroad and local are here to practice. So as they have learned the instruction of meditation and as they have started to practice, they hold the name of yogi. So it is important to understand the meaning of the word yogi. There are those of you who have not understood the meaning of yogi, and also there are those who have already understood the meaning. So for those of you who have understood the meaning of yogi, today's talk will be clarifying it so that you will understand better. And also, for the ones who have not known the meaning of yogi, you will be hearing it in this Dhamma talk. It is also important to know what goal, what aim that one should have as a yogi. So whatever kind of work one does, there needs to be goal, there needs to be aim. Only if one has aim or the goal, then one can put effort in the work stage by stage. So by understanding the benefit, then one will understand that it is high and noble, and one will value and cherish. Only then one will be able to exert effort with full strength to get the goal. So Sayadaw explained the other day the benefits of Satipatthana meditation, the benefits such as purification of the mind. By understanding the benefit of Satipatthana meditation, one will understand that this Satipatthana meditation is not something that is minor. By having faith and confidence on Satipatthana practice, one also has faith and confidence on the benefit of practice. So one will have strong will to get the benefits of practice. So by understanding that Satipatthana meditation is very valuable and precious, yogis come to have strong will to practice hard. So yogi is the person who exerts effort, who works diligently. He, she is called a yogi. So also other people who speak other languages, they have started to have this word yogi also. So it is very important to understand the meaning of the word yogi, as well as to understand what is the goal, what is the aim of being a yogi. The word yogi is made up of two parts, yoga and e. In various texts, there are various meanings of yoga, but here, yoga means effort. Yoga means viriya or effort. So viriya is courage or the state of courageous person. And also, viriya can be translated as effort or courage. And e means possessor. So combining these two, yoga and e, yogi is the person who possesses courage and effort. So, yogis who are here are courageous people. They have a lot of courage to come here for practice. Because worldly beings think of human pleasure, sensual pleasure as best. They want to see good sights, they want to hear good sounds, they want to smell good odor or good scent. They want to eat good taste and also touch, ordinary touch or the touch with opposite sex. So they are craving on these kind of pleasure. So in order to come to a meditation center, they need to leave behind these pleasures. So it takes courage in order to leave behind what they have, in order to leave behind these pleasures. And it also takes effort, it also takes courage to leave behind work, family, loved ones. So in order to leave behind this pleasure, work, family and loved ones, it takes a lot of courage. So yogis who are here, they can come because they have courage to leave behind all this. So they come here because it's either that they have faith and confidence that there is another kind of pleasure that excels so many times than the worldly pleasure. Or they may have indulged in their greed. They may have indulged in their greed in pursuing pleasure, and that they get so used to it, they get bored in this kind of pleasure, so they turn away from this ordinary pleasure, seeking for a kind of happiness that excels so much more than the worldly pleasure. Or some of them, because they have not practiced Satipatthana meditation before, their mind is not matured yet, and the knowledge is not matured yet. So when the mind is not matured, when the knowledge is not matured yet, the mind lacks spiritual resistance. The mind lacks spiritual stamina or spiritual resistance because the mind is not mature, the knowledge is not mature. So lack of spiritual resistance, the mind tends to be sensitive. They have quick response over the opposite states. That's why they end up suffering, having tension, stress, depression, and so on. So looking for the answer to solve these problems such as tension, stress, and depression, they come here for practice because they may have heard from their friends that Satipatthana meditation can give good solution. So anyway, when they are here, yogis need to practice hard, diligently. So coming here for practice, yogis have left behind the worldly pleasure, work, family, friends, and the loved ones. It is called parijaka. Parijaka means leaving behind the worldly pleasure. So yogis who are here have done this parijaga, leaving behind the worldly pleasure courageously. So if you make use of the courage to practice diligently, then you are sure to gain the pleasure, the genuine pleasure that excels many times than the worldly pleasure. So in Pali it is called parigaha. Parigaha means gaining. Because you have left behind the worldly pleasure, because you work diligently, you are sure to gain the happiness, the genuine happiness. So it is called parigaha, gaining. So in order to be worthy of leaving behind the worldly pleasure, you need to work diligently as a genuine yogi. So if you are able to exert effort and practice diligently, then you will gain genuine peace and genuine happiness. So Sayadaw assumed that all of the yogis who are here are courageous, very courageous, that they have the courage to leave behind the worldly pleasure. So Sayadaw also assumes that you will be able to make use of this courage in the practice of Satipatthana meditation. You will be able to make use of the courage to practice diligently, continuously, persistently, without stopping. So you have left behind kamarati, sensual pleasure. So for the time you are here, you are not getting sensual pleasure, you are losing kamarati or sensual pleasure. So in order to be worthy of leaving behind the kamarati, sensual pleasure, you need to practice diligently so that you will gain Dhamma pleasure, which excels so many times than the sensual pleasure. So one must understand that it is very important to gain Dhammarati, Dhamma pleasure. So if one does not understand the goal, if one does not have goal, if one does not have aim and objective, then she will be deviating away from the destination. So one needs to put courage in the practice in order to go towards the goal, towards the destination. In order to gain the goal, in order to go for the goal, one needs to exert 3 stages of effort. These 3 stages are, the first one is initial effort, and the second one is boost up effort so as to overcome laziness, sloth and torpor. And the third stage is the effort made diligently until one reaches the goal. So if the yogi can invest these 3 stages of viriya, then his or her mind and knowledge will develop and will also gain the kind of happiness, Dhamma rati, Dhamma pleasure or Dhamma happiness, which is unrelinquishable, which is very unique. So Sayadaw guarantees the yogis who are able to exert these 3 stages of effort that they are going to get Dhamma rati, Dhamma pleasure, Dhamma happiness, which is very unique which is unrelinquishable. So if the person is not able to exert these 3 stages of effort, he, she is losing this karma ready because he, she has left behind the worldly pleasure. If he, she doesn't put 3 stages of effort, he, she will not get Dhamma ready, Dhamma pleasure. And thus it will be a waste of time without any benefit. So yogis should understand very well that in order to gain Dhamma ready, in order to gain Dhamma pleasure, yogi needs to exert these 3 stages of viriya, 3 stages of effort to gain the goal. So Saraji is emphasizing to exert effort, to exert courage, to practice. Because Buddha also mentioned that the one who is practicing bhavana should be Paṇḍitā. Paṇḍitā means the one who is not lazy. So in the word Paṇḍitā, there is Paṇḍi. Paṇḍi is laziness. So the person who is lazy, the person who is Paṇḍi, does not put effort in the practice, but he, she is very slack, sluggish, exhausted, not wanting to put effort, wanting to be easygoing, lazy. So this person is called Paṇḍi. In another word, he, she is having tinamita, sloth and torpor. So a lazy person does not have intention to practice the high-class Vipassana practice. Even though he, she wants to practice, he, she cannot put effort in the practice. He, she cannot practice without regard to one's own body and life. So, in order to get the genuine kind of happiness, it takes viriya, it takes effort. One needs to invest viriya or effort in order to gain the genuine kind of happiness. If the person cannot invest viriya or effort, then he, she will not get the genuine kind of happiness, which is a guarantee. That's why Buddha said Paṇḍitā, which means one should not have laziness. The person who does not have laziness will be able to work diligently. He, she will be able to practice diligently the high-class Vipassana practice without regard to one's own body and life, so that he, she will attain the goal of genuine happiness. So this Paṇḍi or laziness tortures the yogi at the beginning of the practice, or the yogi whose viriya is not strong yet is attacked by this laziness. So this laziness, Paṇḍi, is the nearest enemy. The nearest enemy to the yogi, the nearest enemy that tortures the yogi is the laziness. So in order to fight the laziness, viriya, effort, is the best weapon. So one must use viriya as the best weapon in order to fight laziness, which is the nearest enemy. So, to give an example, the yogis are asked to focus on the abdomen, noting the rising and falling of the abdomen. So the yogi notes rising, falling, and then after some time, their mind becomes slack. So rather than the noting mind getting to the object of meditation, the noting becomes very superficial, just like reciting something he, she has memorized before. So the noting becomes superficial, and gradually the object became out of sight, and the yogi starts to become sleepy and doze off, nodding and so on. So this is because the yogi is not noting with effort. The yogi is becoming sluggish and slack, noting in a very cool and easy manner. So if the yogi notes in a very easy way, then this laziness is going to attack the yogi. So the overwhelming force in order to drive out the laziness is yoga, viriya, or the effort. So one should practice with effort. One should have a strong will to practice, and one should practice in a very urgent way. Yogi must be ready, active, alert to note the object. So yogi needs to put effort in order to do so. So viriya it is a must that the yogi must put effort. So in order to overwhelm this laziness, one should or one must exert effort in order to overwhelm this laziness. So yogi should make use of the effort, ardent effort, continuously, so as to drive out the laziness. So by now, yogis understand what is a yogi. So to explain practically, during the sitting meditation, yogis are asked to note rising and falling of the abdomen. When one breathes in, the abdomen rises. So in rising of the abdomen, there is the nature such as stiffness, tension, movement, and so on. And when one exhales, the abdomen falls. So in the falling of the abdomen, there is the nature, movement, and so on. So in rising and falling of the abdomen, there is the nature such as stiffness, tension, movement, relaxation, and so on. So these natures really exist. In order to know the true nature, one should note this rising and falling of the abdomen with sustained mindfulness. The noting mind should fall calm and collected on the object. In order that the noting mind to reach the object of meditation, yogi should put effort so that the noting mind will get to the object of meditation. So yogi should always be alert, ready, and active to note the presently arising object. So one should put effort so that the noting mind will get to the object of meditation. So when the yogi is noting rising and falling of the abdomen, yogi must put effort so that the noting mind will get to the object of meditation, rising and falling of the abdomen. So in the same way, in walking meditation, yogis should keep their attention on the foot. Every time the yogi lifts, moves and places the foot, yogi should be putting effort so that every step, the noting mind will get to every step of lifting, moving and placing. So in order to note, yogi should be always ready, alert and active to note the presently arising object. Yogi should not be noting in a very cool manner, but one should always be alert, ready and active to note the object of meditation. So it is effort. So by putting effort every single second so that the noting mind will get to the object of meditation, so having this effort, the mind becomes alert, active and ready. So there will not be laziness, there will not be exhaustion, not wanting to put effort. So by this way, one is overwhelming the laziness with effort, putting effort every single second. By putting effort every single second, the unwholesomeness, the path to unwholesomeness which can arise due to laziness will be blocked. So that's why viriya, effort, can block the path to unwholesomeness. So in place of unwholesomeness, there will be wholesomeness, kusala, wholesomeness, having viriya as chief. So the path to wholesomeness will open. So viriya can prevent, the viriya can block the way to unwholesomeness, and it can open up the way to wholesomeness. So in order that the noting mind reach the object of meditation, yogi has to put effort so that the noting mind will reach the object of meditation. So being able to put effort, yogi becomes possessor of effort. Becoming the possessor of effort, yogi gets the name yogi, the person who possesses effort. So having this effort, viriya, effort, that does not accept kilesa, defilement, yogi becomes, yogi has the name of yogi. So yogi must put effort every single second. If the yogi is able to note once with effort, then he, she will have the name yogi for that moment. So if yogi rests, not putting effort, then he, she is losing this viriya. So it is very important that everyone who is practicing needs to put effort, needs to practice respectfully, not in an easygoing manner, but he, she must practice diligently, putting effort every single second. So there are 3 stages of effort. The first one is arambha dhatu, initial effort. So yogi must put initial effort after learning the instruction how to practice, and the yogi starts to practice noting, rising and falling of the abdomen and so on. So it is the initial effort, arambha dhatu. And as the yogi practice on, there can be laziness arising. So in order to overwhelm this laziness, yogi needs to step up the effort. In Pali, it is called nikkama dhatu. Nikkama dhatu is the stepped up effort in order to overcome laziness. And yogi must put effort stage by stage until finally he/she attains the goal. It is called parakama dhatu. Parakama dhatu is the effort made stage by stage until reaching the goal. So the person who possesses these three stages of viriya, these three stages of effort, is called yogi. Yogi is the person who possesses these three stages of effort. So the one who does not have effort will be yogi by name only. And he/she will be a fake yogi, in appearance of a yogi, a fake yogi, or a masquerade yogi. So if he/she is not able to put effort, he/she will be a yogi by name only or a masquerade yogi. But it is important to become a role model yogi who really puts up the three stages of effort with courage. So, if there is this laziness, when the mind becomes slack, not wanting to put effort, wanting to stay in an easygoing manner, then dandi or laziness has crept in. So when laziness is creeping in, then the mind becomes inferior, low class. So not only laziness is there, but there can be other bad mental states such as lobha, greed, dosa, anger, and there will be delusion, conceit. So when these mental states come in, then the mind becomes very inferior and low class. By putting effort, the mind is not pulled by the defilements. Having effort, mindfulness will develop, and also concentration and knowledge will also develop. So the mind will not be inferior anymore, but the mind becomes strengthened. The mind will become pure, clean, matured, and become strengthened day by day, and knowledge will develop. And when the knowledge becomes developed and when the knowledge becomes matured, the mind also becomes matured. Even though he/she meets with good and bad things, there will not be sensitive mind, but the mind has this spiritual stamina, spiritual resistance. The mind will be balanced, even though he/she meets with good and bad objects. So the mind becomes matured, developed. So the mind becomes from small to big, from tender to matured, from less to many. It is called bhavana. So the person who puts effort to develop the mind and the knowledge is called Yogi. So Yogi is the person who exerts effort in order to develop the mind and the knowledge. So Sayadaw has to explain more on Yogi, but today the hour is up, so Sayadaw will continue in his next Dhamma talk.